Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we are doing our last episode of Eclipse.
Oh, thank God.
It's been a while.
This, for recording purposes, this has been the most spaced out we've had.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like we've been in this book for longer than the first and second book combined.
Yeah. Well, and this book.
She
thick. And the next one's even thicker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually kind of nervous about the next book. Not for the content wise, but for me summarizing wise.
It's gonna be a shared, that one's gonna be a group project for sure.
Yay, good, because it's been painful thus far.
Yes.
It's been so painful.
Yes. And given my study setup for this semester, I'm going to treat that as my break in between. I'll read about
a chapter of Breaking Dawn.
A chapter of property, a chapter of contracts, a chapter of Breaking Dawn. What is the least painful of those three? Contracts. Contracts is the least painful.
I was going to say not Breaking Dawn.
Although actually maybe property. I do appreciate so far tangent because as you can tell, we don't like to get too deep into things. But before we do get too deep into things, just a reminder, you can find us on all of our social media. It's going to be 10 minutes before I circle back to that. You can find us on all of our social media, which is linked below. We would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and follow. We do have our Who Knows What Wednesday episodes, true crime, mystery, assorted, the fun stuff. And by fun, I mean gruesome, usually trigger warnings.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have our Saturday book reviews. We also have our YouTube exclusive movie reactions. So after this episode comes out, next Saturday will be the exclusive Eclipse movie reaction. I say Twilight every time.
That's okay.
It happens, but you guys should check that out. But back to my thing, I actually appreciate it. This is the first time in my memory that I have not one, but two teachers who chose textbooks with recent stuff.
Oh.
So my contracts class, we're going to have stuff about Lady Gaga. I know. And a couple.
That's nice.
Yeah. And Shirley MacLaine and a couple other ones. And my property one, some of it's old, but the teacher makes it really engaging. So it helps. Today we read the case of Popov v. Hayashi. There we go. Baseball, basically.
Oh.
Barry Bonds hit his 73rd home run.
Well, that explains why I don't know.
I didn't know much, but he hit it into the stands. It was $1 million ball. People got into a fight about it. It was this whole deal. But it's actually interesting. So when I say Breaking Dawn is the worst between those things to read,
it truly is.
It truly is. I mean, I haven't started my con law stuff yet because first week of class, maybe that'll be worse. But Breaking Dawn is pretty.
I can only imagine. But so those will be coming up real soon, which is crazy to even think of.
Yeah.
But we will get there.
All right.
Well.
We don't do a summary. Victoria's dead. They're still at the battle scene. Bella kissed Jacob. Kiss. Not new moon. Kiss.
Yep.
And realize that she loves him.
Yep.
I don't know. They're all garbage.
Yeah.
And here we are. That's where we've left off.
Here we are. All right. So chapter 25 is Mirror. So Bella's in shock, and Edward tells Seth to gather every piece of Victoria. They and whatever the other guy's name was.
Riley.
I forgot. Riley. There we go. They gathered each piece and threw them all into the fire. When they finished, Seth snickered, and Edward murmured, "Nice teamwork." Edward turns to Bella and gently asks for her to drop the rock she is still holding. Oh, forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, that she cut her. Yeah, the whole third wife of it all.
Yeah. So he's hesitant, but continues that she doesn't have to be afraid. She's safe now.
There's a bunch of newborns, a 15-minute Edward run that way. Safest relatives.
The picture in my mind, though. So Edward keeps repeating this while slowly moving toward her with his hands up and palms forward.
Oh, my God.
And Bella asks what he's doing, and he assumes that she's afraid of him because she just saw him murder Victoria, I guess. But like, can you imagine this? Like, just be like, what did he keep saying?
It's okay. You're
It's
safe.
okay. You don't have to be afraid anymore. You don't have to be afraid anymore.
Okay, Edward is applying normal logic to Bella.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's Bella.
She's been so dumb. She's been nope, not hypothetical, not hyper aware, not hyperactive, hypocritical. Wow, that is upstairs.
We're getting there though.
We're getting there. Hypocritical. She's been hypocritical in New Moon when she thought, even though Laurent basically told her that Victoria was around killing people, she's like, oh my god, it's the wolves, they're monsters. And the wolves are like, ma'am, vampires, bloodsuckers, and like, your bloodsucker has killed people. And she's like, no, it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's different. It's Edward.
It's
So Bella takes a step forward, trips on her own feet, and Edward catches her as she starts to sob. Bella clings to him, and she started to kiss him.
What?
Then asks if Edward...
I mean, I know adrenaline can make you do some weird things, but like, this is...
Yeah, and then asks if... Oh, yeah. Oh, you skipped it. Yeah. I thought you said, can you skip this? And I was like, yeah, I can cut it out. What's up?
No, I think I like skipped this chapter.
Yeah, so she kisses him, then asks if he and Seth are okay. Yeah, so Bella's just throwing herself at Edward.
That's the entire 4-book series.
Yeah. So, but even more so now because she just kissed Jacob and all that, and she's just in the panic state of, oh my god, what did I do? Because we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yep. So they are fine, and Seth is more than fine. He is very pleased with himself.
Okay, a lot of love for Seth. He is such a little sweetie.
Yes. And all the others are fine too. It went smoothly for them. All the newborns are gone. Everybody's okay.
We get nothing of that really. They're amping up all of this
for nothing.
For nothing.
Sorry, half a chapter. Not even half a chapter, because I counted one day when I was on the phone with you because I was so pissed off about it.
It was like less than 8 pages.
Yeah.
But God help us, because she'll give us, I think, over the 4-book series, there's got to be at least one full chapter on he breathes, his breath, the breathing, the winking.
Yep. I want to take this moment to remind you, this was your pick.
I'm going to liken this to childbirth. Bear with me. So,
I know where you're going with this.
The hormones that rush in after the excruciating process of childbirth makes you forget how painful it was. So you want to have more babies. Mother Nature's cruel that way. Cruel, not cool. Cruel. I think that's cruel as a woman. That's how I feel about this book, because I went through it and then the teenage brain was like, haha, awful. Don't remember it that way.
I love all of it. It's just rainbows and sunshine.
It's all worth it in the end. Is it? What do we get when we walk away from this? Anger? Lessons for our children? Relief.
Okay, so Bella then circles back. Why does Edward think that she would be afraid of him? Edward apologizes. He didn't want her to see him like that. It must have been terrifying for her. But none of that bothered Bella. She was just afraid that Edward and Seth would get hurt, and there was nothing that she could do to help them.
Well, at least she knows she's useless.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. What am I going to do in that situation?
Watch.
Commentary.
You would be great commentary in that. There's a blur. There's another blur. Oh, look, there's a red blur that's on the ground.
I would go like full sportscaster.
I could see it though.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have Victoria. She's red. She's fiery. She's angry. She's awful. Team Edward. The only time I'll be on Team Edward. Here we go. And fight round 2.
I'm on Team Nobody, just so we have that all aware.
I'm on Team Seth in this fight.
Team Seth?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm on Team Rock. The Rock was very helpful in that entire fight. I mean, Seth was too. Eddie Boy was a little bit. Rock was really helpful. Team Rock. Go Rocco.
Talking about Seth being very good. Edward tells Bella that Seth was actually never hurt. Remember when he like laid
Oh,
down for a while,
thrown.
like whimpered and whatever? It was all a trick.
The wolf played possum.
Mm-hmm. Good job, Seth. So Bella is shocked, then tells Edward, just wait until she's a vampire. With her luck, there will be a next time, and that time she won't be on the sidelines. Suddenly, Edward's gaze goes to Seth. There was a moment of silence, then Edward gasped no, and Seth let out a howl of agony. Edward fell to. Are you
I
confused?
am confused. I'm trying to remember what
Oh,
happened.
oh, did you finish the book of Eclipse?
I think childbirth, childbirth, and I also probably got really mad when I saw like the whole kissing thing.
Oh, and then
So
you'd probably just skim the last 4 chapters.
probably
Okay.
I I have this thing where I will get like really mad at a TV show character or like a book character, or I'll feel just like so embarrassed for them that I will skip.
Yeah. Well, we ain't skipping today, guys.
No, we're sitting through. Oh God, what did I repress? A lot.
All right. Well, you ready to figure out what happens? That's
Woo!
so. Woo. So Edward fell to his knees. Then he grits out that they'll be fine. Then tells Sam to help him. Edward orders Seth to go straight home as fast as he can. Seth whimpers, shakes, and Edward just tells him that he has to trust him and go. Seth disappeared, and Bella asked what just happened. They have to go back to the clearing. They knew there was a good probability of this happening. The Volturi decided that it was time for them to intercede.
Now I'm remembering. I thought someone got hurt. Oh, son of a biscuit and a half. Got it.
Yeah. So Edward tells her not to panic. They aren't here for Bella. They're just doing their job. They're going back partly so Edward can get a read on what they're actually thinking, but most of it's safer for them to be a united front. Edward again tries to calm her down, but it'll be fine. Alice can see that everything will be fine. The pack left quickly as the Volturi don't honor truces with werewolves, but they will be fine. What had happened when Edward and Seth reacted, one of the newborns was hiding and Leah had found him. She was trying to prove something and engaged with him alone. She wasn't hurt. Bella asked who got hurt, and after a long moment, he responded, Jacob. And Bella passes out. So she comes back to Edward telling Carlisle that it's been 5 minutes, so she's been unresponsive for 5 minutes. Carlisle tells him that her mind is protecting itself and she'll come back when she's ready. Alice tells him that they have 5 minutes and Bella will open her eyes in 37 seconds.
Okay, I can vibe with Alice on this. Also, real quick bells. No. Like, I'm sorry. If you're going to go around and be like, I need to be a vampire, like, I do better as all day, you need to have some mental fortitude.
I
mean,
I can't even get into this because it just
medically, you're like, I hate it.
calm down. Like, if you're unresponsive for 5 minutes for just like panicking about something,
No, and like, correct me if I'm wrong.
you're probably not.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, to the point of like, you're to pass out from an extreme emotional change like that has to be like extreme. Are you like,
Not necessarily. It usually them panicking is they're gonna pass out. Usually, non-medical expert, just from what I've seen, is usually from people either A, holding their breath, B, locking their knees, or C, they trigger the vagus nerve.
and we circle back.
And we
We
circle
were
back.
talking about that earlier. Okay, so then maybe let me rephrase. Passing out to be unresponsive for 5 minutes.
I don't know how that would, for a non-medically, all the
Induced
sinkable
reason.
episodes that I've seen where people pass out for one of those reasons, it's pretty like you pass out and then you start coming back pretty darn fast.
That's what I'm thinking. Like the people that I've seen go down, the locking your knees, when you said that, I'm like, I am having visions of elementary and middle school choir and band concerts. What did they tell us? Kids, don't lock your knees. There was always a kid who locked their knees.
That one person that
Yeah, and they're never in the front row. They're always on the back.
I know.
It's always the
top
worst
one.
place.
Oh
God. But like, yeah, no, you're down and you're up pretty quick. And as someone who is almost passed out / kind of passed out because of migraines, like it is pretty quick.
usually pretty quick.
So like that's why I'm like, I'm reading this. I'm like, she's unconscious, and like Jacob got hurt, but you didn't say like everything. She's not listening.
I just don't know medically what would get you to be unresponsive for 5 minutes when you're not hurt.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I do know. It's what Stephanie's been telling us. Bella's not like other girls.
Okay, well now we can move on. So moving on before we talk about this for another hour. Esme spoke to Bella in a soft voice and tells her that she is safe now. Edward continues and tells her that Jacob will live, he is healing, and will be fine. Bella opens her eyes and Edward is relieved. Carlisle tells Bella that Jacob is okay, he examined him himself, and Jacob should be back to normal in a few days.
Quick question. Did he examine him as a wolf or as a human?
I believe as a wolf.
So he's got some vet knowledge then, I guess.
Yeah, so we talk about it, actually.
Oh, we do? Yeah. Whoops, I blocked stuff.
Oh, well, it's also been a long time. So once they're done here, Carlisle will go see how he can help Jacob. Sam is trying to get Jacob to phase back. Okay, so he examined him as a human. Sam's trying to get Jacob to phase back, so treating him will be easier. Quote, I've never been to veterinarian school. Oh, wait, no, he's trying to get him to...
Yep, so he's as a wolf right now.
And he's trying to get him to transition back so Carlisle can treat him. There we go. That was very confusing.
Well, Stephanie. But hey, I'm happy that she actually addressed the point.
Yeah, he's not a veterinarian.
Yeah. What the... Sorry,
You're trapped.
Before I screw everything up. Here we go.
Okay, so Jacob was helping Leah. He knocked her out of the way when she was in trouble, but he didn't have time to protect himself. So the newborn got him, and most of his bones on the right side had been shattered. Sam and Paul got there in time, and he will be back to normal. Alice quietly tells them 3 minutes. Bella tries her best to stand. Bella realized then there were 8 vampires suddenly in the clearing. One girl, very young, maybe 15, surrendered. Jasper is fine too. He ended up getting bitten. Bella looked around and the girl was thrashing in Jasper's arms, and Carlisle asks if she changed her mind. They don't want to destroy her, but they'll have to see if she can control herself.
Oh, because Bella's around.
Yeah. The girl asks how they can stand it. She wants Bella. Carlisle tells her that she has to stand it. Control is possible and will be the only thing to save her. Bella wondered if she was looking into her future. Is this what was going to happen to her? Edward then suddenly welcomes Jane, and there are 4 figures behind her. Jane is confused about the girl. Edward explains that Carlisle offered for her to surrender, but Jane states it's irrelevant. There are no options for rule breakers. Jane then tells Carlisle that Arrow hoped that they would get to see them. He sends his regards, and Carlisle nods and asks her to convey his to Arrow as well.
I think Arrow sounds better, but fine.
I do
Arrow,
too.
Okay.
I almost said Arlo though.
Arlo.
I had to stop myself. She smiled. Carlisle tells Jane about the events that occurred today, and when they finish, Jane asks what the newborn name is. When she didn't answer, Jane smiled, and the girl began to scream. When she stopped, Jane asked again, and the girl said Bree. Jane asked Bree about the story. Was what the Cullens said true? Bree doesn't know much, but tells her what Riley told them. They would come to destroy the Yellow Eyes. It would be easy, and whoever got the girl first could have her. They all split up. Riley left and didn't come back. Carlisle told her that they wouldn't hurt her if she stopped fighting. Jane tells her that that wasn't his gift to offer. Broken rules have consequences. Jane then looks to Carlisle and asks if he is sure that they got all of them. He is. Jane's impressed and then asks if he knows what was behind everything and what does this have to do with Bella. Edward tells her that Victoria held a grudge against Bella. Jane laughed. Bella seems to bring out strong reactions in their kind.
I would concur.
I would too. Jane checks again to see if she is still powerless over Bella. She is. Jane is disappointed that they were too late to join in the fun. It is truly a pity. Jane then turns to Bree and calls Felix. Edward interjects. They could explain the rules to the young one. The girl didn't seem unwilling to learn. She didn't know what she was doing. Carlisle continues that they would certainly be prepared to take responsibility for Bree. Jane was amused and in disbelief. They don't make exceptions or give second chances. It's bad for their reputation. Speaking of that, Chaos will be so interested to hear that Bella...
No, that's a weird one.
I hate their names because Arrow should be Aro because it sounds better and like...
Plus Italians, I feel like it's usually more than A.
Yeah. Caius? Caius. Okay. So
What's
Caius.
the third one? I can see his face. Reginald is what comes to mind. Marcus is not Reginald. Marcus, yeah.
Oh, so Caius will be so interested. Whatever, that guy will be so interested to hear that Bella is still human. So much so that he may even decide to pay them a visit. Alice jumps in that the date is set and they may even plan a visit to go and see them in a few months. Jane's smile fades. She shrugged and turned to Carlisle, telling him that it was nice to meet him. She then tells Felix to take care of that thing. She wants to go home. Edward tells Bella to not watch, but she could still hear. Edward rubbed her shoulders. Jane then tells Felix to come. Quote, the gray cloaks disappeared into the thick mist. End quote, end of chapter 25.
So for those who didn't get it, they killed Bree.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Which does suck, because, like, she didn't ask to be turned.
No,
she wasn't given the
know
rules.
Any better.
She was withheld from the rules for Victoria's power play.
Yeah.
No, that one's unfair. That's very unfair.
It's very unfair. Anything else on 25?
Nah.
So, chapter 26 is epics. The Cullens were back home, and Alice was slowly combing through Bella's hair because she's all, like, matted and wild from being in the woods.
Running the knots.
Yeah. Yeah. They did talk in detail about her hair being, like, matted and...
I mean, it shouldn't be, like, matted from all that, at least when I think of matting.
It shouldn't be, but that's how it was, like, described, was that it was, like, truly, like...
A mess.
A mess. So Bella tells Alice that she wants to go to La Push to see Jacob. Alice tells Bella that Jacob is still unconscious, and Carlisle or Edward will call when he is awake. And Charlie saw Carlisle and Edward, so he knows that they're already back from their trip, and he will be suspicious.
Wait, sorry, hold on.
Yeah, there was a lot there.
Context clue. Does that mean that Carlisle is over on La Push territory?
Oh!
Are they like...
Oh!
If he's... I mean, I don't know where they're treating him,
shit.
but like...
Well, because he's at Billy's house. He's at his house.
So he's at the reservation.
Wow.
They've allowed them in.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, Carlisle is like the only guy that can help treat Jacob. So I'm sure, I mean, I could see from Sam's point of view being like, we just fought with these guys and now he's helping one of our own. Just let him in. And
Even though we're going to have to kill them in a couple months because they're going to break the treaty by turning Bella.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So Bella's adamant that she wants to be there when Jacob wakes up, but Alice assures her that she needs to go talk to Charlie and be responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, she's bugging. Yeah, I really do think I skimmed the heck out of these last chapters because Bella was bugging me so
I
much.
think you skimmed this whole series.
I think so.
Yeah. So Bella stands up and Alice complimented her dress. She got it for her. After all, they'll need evidence that they were, in fact, on a shopping trip.
I do appreciate her attention to detail.
I do too. When Bella didn't respond, Alice assured her again that Jacob is fine. Carlisle gave him a lot of extra morphine because his temperature burned through it so quick, so he should be out for a while. She then asks if Bella is okay and if there's anything she wants to talk about before she leaves. Bella asks if she'll be like that, like the girl in the meadow. Alice tells her that everyone is different, but she will be something like that. But it will pass in a few years, or maybe even less. It's different, and she'll never meet someone who chooses this, but they will keep her out of trouble. Bella then asks again if Alice can see her future. Alice can see her future, but nothing else works on Bella. Not Jane, not Edward, not Arrow. Alice is intrigued by this and points out that Jasper is also able to use his ability on her too. The difference seems to be that Jasper is able to affect the body physically. Alice is able to see the outcomes and not the reasons or thoughts behind the decision. Both occur outside of the mind. Jane creates an illusion of pain. She doesn't hurt the body physically, and same with everyone else. They all work inside her mind. And this is why Arrow is so curious about her future abilities. Bella then asks if Alice sees her becoming a vampire. Alice does, but then asks Bella if she knows her own mind. Alice is only as sure as Bella is. If she changes her mind, Alice would see something different or it would disappear. Alice apologizes. She can't empathize with her, but she can sympathize. She is sorry that she has to choose between two good things. Bella tells her to not be sorry for her. There wasn't any choice to make. She would be breaking a good heart, but first she would go deal with Charlie. Bella drove home, and Charlie asked about her trip, then asks if she heard about Jake and if Bella is okay. Bella is just worried about Jake and wants to go down to La Push after she makes dinner. Charlie tells Bella that he told her that motorcycles were dangerous, but she shouldn't worry too much about Jake. Quote, anyone who can cuss with that kind of energy is going to recover. End quote.
I vibe.
So Jake is awake. Oh, we got a longer quote here. Quote, you should have heard him. Actually, it's better you didn't. I don't think there was anyone in La Push who couldn't hear him. I don't know where he picked up that vocabulary, but I hope he hasn't been using that kind of language around you. End quote.
I can imagine that. I mean, as someone who there's been studies that show cursing while you're in pain relieves pain to a degree.
Yeah.
And, I'm just saying, when I stub my toe, gosh, gee, will curse is not what comes out.
No, but an F-bomb does feel pretty good.
It does. Or sometimes if it's bad enough, like the old table at that solid hunk of wooden.
That one was solid.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't break toes on that because I'd catch my pinky and my pinky would go, wait. And I'm like, that's 90 degrees. That you don't even swear. You just kind of pray.
Yeah.
I don't miss that. We didn't take that table with us.
No. So Charlie is worried that Bella will go riding again, but she assures him that that won't happen. Charlie tells her that Jake was himself enough to tease him. Quote, in between insulting somebody's mother and taking the Lord's name in vain, he said, Bet you're glad she loves Cullen instead of me today, huh, Charlie? And I couldn't argue.
Oh, oh, damn.
Oh, just wait till this part, Connie. We're still going on the quote here. Edward's more mature than Jacob when it comes to your safety. I'll give him that much. Jacob's plenty mature, I muttered defensively. End quote.
Ew. I know that she's saying that probably as a mental thing, but again, in Charlie's eyes, Jake is younger.
I know.
Like, if I was the parent hearing that, I'd be like, are you justifying? Like, what are we doing here?
So Charlie then tells Bella how weird of a day it was. They were out fishing and they heard wolves howling in the woods, several of them, and they were so loud. It sounded like they were so close. The weirdest part, though, was that Billy turned the boat around and went right back to the harbor and wouldn't respond when Charlie asked what he was doing. The noises stopped before they got to the dock, and Billy was in a huge hurry to not miss the game, even though it wouldn't be on for hours. He would only say something about it was an earlier showing. It was very odd, and then when they got back, he ignored the TV and was on the phone calling Sue and Emily and old Quill. The howling started again, and it sounded like the animal was in severe pain. Charlie asked if they had gone and set traps for the wolves. But then the howling went away, and Jake was home and cussing up a storm.
You know, Charlie for a cop, granted, how is he supposed to know?
Yeah. And we got a book quote coming up,
Oh.
which I have no idea. I can't even give you a hint of what this could be.
Please no breath. Please no breath.
Well,
please no breath.
Edward's not around, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, it's really only him.
It is. Charlie paused for a minute, his face thoughtful. Funny that some good should come out of this mess. I didn't think they were ever going to get over it, that fool prejudice they have against the Cullens down there. But somebody called Carlisle, and Billy was real grateful when he showed up. I thought we should get Jake up to the hospital, but Billy wanted to keep him home, and Carlisle agreed. I guess Carlisle knows what's best. Generous of him to sign up for such a long stretch of house calls. And he paused, as if unwilling to say something. He sighed and then continued, and Edward was really nice. He seemed worried about Jacob, as you are, like that was his brother lying there. The look in his eyes. Charlie shook his head. He's a decent guy, Bella. I'll try to remember that. No promises, though, he grinned at me. I won't hold you to it, I mumbled.
Aww. See, I can see where Edward's coming off really well from Charlie's perspective.
Yes.
With the information Charlie has, I'd be like,
Yes.
okay, if I was the parent in this situation, God, that's how you know you're old, when you start really identifying with the parents in the stories. I'm going to have issues when I identify with the grandparents.
Ugh.
We're not there yet.
Not
Although
quite.
I do like Grandma Core. It's cute. It's
I do
like,
too.
they're really, I like it. I love it. Anyway, but like he's seen Edward as a good guy. And I'm like, you don't know that he basically kind of imprisoned your daughter.
He doesn't know a lot about what's going on. He knows that not even the tip of the iceberg.
He doesn't know there's an iceberg.
There it is.
There we go. There we go.
All right. So Bella headed down to La Push, and Billy let her in and told her that Jake has been waiting for her. Bella was still distracted, and Charlie assured her that Carlisle said Jake will be up and walking in no time, and that it looked much worse than it actually was. Bella finished making dinner, set it down for Charlie, and headed for the door. Charlie stopped her. Here's the gist of it, Bella. Charlie flushed. Maybe I'm feeling superstitious after hanging out with Billy while he was being so strange all day. But I have this hunch. I feel like I'm going to lose you soon. Don't be silly, Dad, I mumbled guiltily. You want me to go to school, don't you? Just promise me one thing. I was hesitant. Okay. Will you tell me before you do anything major? Before
Sorry.
before you run off with him or something? Dad, I moaned. I'm serious. I won't kick up a fuss. Just give me some advance notice. Give me a chance to hug you goodbye. Cringing mentally, I held up my hand. This is silly, but if it makes you happy, I promise.
Gaslighting. Gaslighting!
Does it not happen? She doesn't tell Charlie she's getting married or she's leaving. It's just all some blah, blah, blah
Well,
in
you
your
know they get
face.
married, but like, yeah,
Oh, okay.
no.
Well,
But like, she's not going to discuss the whole like, hey, Dad, how do you feel about me being different species?
no, I figured like before she left, because obviously they have to leave.
Yeah, there's some conversation.
Okay. Thanks, Bella, he said. I love you, kid. I love you too, Dad. I touched his shoulder and then shoved away from the table. If you need anything, I'll be at Billy's.
You know, I think, to my memory, which again is proven not to be the best right now when it comes to the series, that might be the most emotional vulnerability that they have with each other at all.
I loved that conversation, and that's why I wrote that in there. But it was so cute.
It was cute and it was, I would say, accurate to what, more so than some of the other interactions in the book, but accurate to what I would envision that, you know, divorced dad, single dad,
Yeah,
not really having the relationship with his daughter, not really being around women like that.
I can see that.
Bella not good at receiving love. That felt like that was a good writing with an understanding of the characters.
Yeah.
Other writing in the book, I have questions.
We're not going to get into that right now.
See all of our previous episodes.
Bella headed down to La Push, and Billy let her in and told her that Jake was waiting for her. He was, in fact, waiting for her. It was hard to look at his face, though, for Bella, knowing that she loved him. It made a bigger difference than she thought it would. Jacob isn't in pain now. Carlisle isn't sure how much pain meds to give him, so it's a trial and error thing, but he can't feel his injuries. Jacob asks how Bella is after everything. He was fairly certain that Edward wouldn't hurt her, but he didn't know if Bella would be allowed to come visit after everything.
Allowed? Okay.
Well, after all the kiss. Well, I know where you're coming from, but like all their kid, yeah.
Yep, I don't.
But so how was everything? Jacob didn't want Bella to have to go through that alone. He thought that he would have been there with Edward for that conversation.
Oh, why did you think you would be there?
To protect Bella, just in case he, like, just what he said, just in case he hurts her. He's like, I'm fairly certain he wouldn't hurt you, but I wanted to be there just in case, and like he would take it out on me and not you. And
Okay. I get it, but also Jacob, if you were really that concerned, don't make a move in the first place. But yeah, I get it.
He's also high on meds right now.
Yeah, he's on that good stuff, that morphine.
I'm like, when I had my surgery for my shoulder, I was on some pain meds. I was babbling for a little bit, and I'm not a babbler.
No, you are not.
And I was babbling.
That's actually kind of hilarious that you come out of drugs babbling. I come out of drugs saying the exact same thing. Get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out.
The IV.
The IV, the IV, the IV.
Dear God.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
So
also, this is just making me think. I'm sure you've probably seen the picture of the a drug addict that stole a pharmacist's script, and they wrote morphine 1 pound to go.
I've seen that. Yes.
MOFINE.
Yeah,
1 pound to go.
Not gonna get you nothing.
I love the to go. I love everything about it. I cackle every time that comes across my dash.
So Bella interrupts Jacob's babble and tells her that she's okay. Edward wasn't mean at all, and she wished that he was, actually. Jacob is shocked. Bella continues that Edward wasn't mad. It was much worse than being yelled at. He just wants Bella to be happy. Jacob stared dumbfounded. He can't believe it. He didn't even give her an ultimatum. He was counting on Edward's reaction, but he's better than he thought.
Edward's getting brownie points from everybody this chapter.
Mm-hmm. He's playing just as hard as Jacob is. Quote, "Don't blame me because he's a better manipulator than I am. I haven't been around long enough to learn all of his tricks."
And
He isn't manipulating me. Yes, he is. When are you going to wake up and realize that he's not as perfect as you think he is? End quote. Look at Stephanie calling out Edward for all of his complete BS by using Jacob.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get where Jacob's coming from.
I do too.
At the same time, like, I would never want to hear that argument of, like, if I was in between two guys, I would not want to hear, like, when will you wake up and see that, he's not as perfect? I'd be like, ooh, I know you're trying to dig at him, but actually you just dug at me.
I had a guy basically tell me that in high school. I do wish that I listened to him.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's merited, but it would piss me off none the same.
Well, it did piss me off, but looking back, I'm like, man, he was pretty smart.
Yeah. I think, again, it's just all about phrasing.
Yeah.
I'm
and timing.
In time, in delivery.
Yeah.
All of it. It's like the difference between, hey, could you please do the dishes versus do the dishes?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
The results of those conversations is very different.
Yeah.
Don't believe us. Try it out yourself. See how it goes with your partner.
I wish you... don't do it.
Don't do it. If you're taking advice from us,
don't.
Unless it's one of our, like, advice episodes.
Which we haven't had in who knows how long.
Maybe we should.
So Bella asks if her knowing that she knows that she's in love with him makes things better or worse for him. Jake thinks for a while, then says, yes, it's better now. Whatever decision she makes, he'll know that he did everything he could. Bella crossed the room. She couldn't resist the urge to comfort him anymore. She apologizes, but he knew that it was a long shot. It's not her fault. Bella wanted him to not be so nice and wants him to yell at her. Jake trying to make things easier for her because Bella's like, please, please, please yell at me. Like, I need someone to yell at me. You and Edward can't be like this nice, like, it's fine, it's okay, I understand, like, yell at me. And so
I hate it, but I get where she's coming from.
Yeah, and so Jake, trying to make it easier for her, starts to get angry. Bella whispered a response to him, and suddenly she was sobbing. Jacob took his good leg off the bed, trying to stand. Bella jumped up and pushed his good shoulder to get him back in bed. Jacob grabs her by the waist and pulls Bella down with him on the bed on his good side. Jacob, I can't look at you without, because I'm going to start laughing. Jacob mumbled that he can't believe she's crying. He only said those things because she wanted him to. He didn't mean any of them. Bella knows, but everything he said was true. Jacob reassures her that things will work out and he will try to be more good for her. He'll be her friend and won't ask for more than that. Bella doesn't think that'll work. They can't be friends when they love each other. Jacob says they'll have a long-distance friendship. Jacob then asks if Bella knows the Bible story of two women fighting over the baby, King Solomon.
Full circle, that got brought up in my property class today.
Wow.
The baseball case.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Very.
So essentially the king said to cut this kid in half to test to see who would give up their half to protect the baby. Well, he isn't going to cut her in half anymore. Bella understood. But Edward would also do the same thing if that's what she wanted.
So baby's being just dropped on the ground and no one's holding the baby. Okay.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Jacob tells her that that is the worst part of all of this is what would have been. He is right for her and it would have been effortless for them. He was the natural path her life would have taken if there was no monsters or magic. Bella knew that,
Yeah.
yeah,
I never thought of that. Yeah.
yeah. And Bella even knew that he was right. They would have been happy together. He was her soulmate in that world. In that world.
Hmm.
Bella believed that there was something stronger in this world, though, that was out there for Jacob, too. Jacob tells Bella that Edward is a drug for her. He sees that she can't live without him. It's too late, but but Jacob would have been healthier for Bella. Not a drug, but the air and the sun. And Bella tells him that she used to think of him that way, her own personal sun. He balanced out the clouds. And I had to include this quote because Stephanie.
Oh. Oh.
Quote, the clouds I can handle, but I can't fight with an eclipse. End quote. Yep. Jacob asks what the worst part is for her, even if it hurts him. The worst part is that she saw their whole lives together and she wants it. She wants to stay here and love him and him make her happy, but she can't and it kills her. It's like Sam and Emily. They never had a choice and she knew that nothing would change. That may be why she was fighting against him so bad. He thanks Bella for telling him he'll be good now. He then asks about her getting married. He wants to know some of the details since he doesn't know when he'll get a chance to see her again. Bella tells him it isn't her idea, but it means a lot to Edward, so why not? Jake nodded. He could agree. It's not so big in comparison and asks how long she has left. It depends on how long it takes Alice to plan a wedding. It will happen after that. Jake asks if she's scared. She is. She's afraid of a lot of things. The pain, keeping him away, dealing with Charlie and Renee, and then after being able to control herself. Who knows, maybe she'll be so bad that the pack has to come and take her out. Jacob assures her that he'd hamstring any of his brothers who tried. Bella laid her cheek against him and tells him he knows she loves him. He does, and wishes that it was enough. He'll always be waiting, though, and she'll always have a spare option if she wants. Bella tries to smile and tells him until her heart stops beating. Jacob grins back. He thinks he might still take her, depending on how much she stinks.
Oh. That's really sweet.
Bella asks if she should come see him again or if he would prefer she didn't. He doesn't know, but will think about it and get back to her. Bella tells him to be good and listen to Carlisle. Bella stops and then tells Jacob she wonders when it'll happen for him, when the girl will catch his eye. Jacob's voice goes sour. She shouldn't get her hopes up, although he is sure she would be relieved. Bella isn't sure. Who knows? Maybe she'll get jealous. Jacob admits that this might be fun.
They have so much chemistry together.
They do. I think that's the part that bugs me the most is knowing that she ends up with Edward, which is, it's fine. That's how she wrote the book. Whatever. I don't really care that much. But she wrote all of this natural chemistry with Jacob. And then with Edward, it's like they're staring at each other.
They're breathing.
Breathing. They're
Watching
whatever.
her sleep.
Yeah, like there's not the natural chemistry there.
No. You know what this feels like? Sorry, finish the quote. We'll come back.
Oh, I was about to start a quote.
Oh, it feels like the difference between lust and love.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
it
I got some
does.
good ones tonight. Okay.
Yeah, it does. It does, though.
And for those who are not, following along, are you okay? You should know the difference.
You should know the difference.
Edward is lust. Jacob is love. It's like you don't always go for the boy that makes your heart go pitter patter crazy.
Yeah.
You go for the one who makes you feel happy and good
Mm-hmm.
and safe and loved, and you love them.
Yep.
There we go. Secret to life. Ta-da! And don't be a jerk.
Sometimes I know for a fact there are a whole bunch of YouTube psychiatrists out there that talk about like sometimes that spark and the butterflies that you feel in your stomach, it's not good.
It's a warning sign.
It is a warning. I mean, like, sure, at first, like when you're starting to get to know each other, it's like that excitement. But if it's like that nervous, like butterflies in your stomach, like and it lasts, it's not good.
The funny thing is, the guys that I had butterflies for
Yeah.
in high school. Yeah, I would say high school because like middle school, you're just trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them, of which there was only a couple. But as we got older and as, we went on to post high school things and keeping up on social media, there was several things with multiple of them that they shared or that I heard from friends where I'm like, oh, thank goodness I didn't have a connection with them or like further on beyond those butterflies, because that's not something that I would mesh with.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that like, and I really only had one that I was like really like truly caring for.
Mm-hmm.
That was for quite a while, and we broke up, and I don't know what he's doing now. But yeah, it's one of those where I just listen to the butterflies.
Yeah. If they're lasting.
If they're if they stick around like a long time, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If they're only there for a little bit and then they go like carbonation stomach, then you're fine.
Yeah.
There you go. Carbonation versus food poisoning.
Okay. So here's the quote for the end of the chapter. Let me know if you want me to come back and I'll be here, I promised. With a sigh, he turned his cheek toward me. I leaned in and kissed his face softly. Love you, Jacob. He laughed lightly. Love you more. He watched me walk out of his room with an unfathomable expression in his black eyes.
Was she just walking out backwards?
Apparently. End of chapter 26.
At end of chapter 26. Also, I feel the need to clarify on the further point I said. I also love my husband. Obviously. I was talking about high school. I realized I said it in my head, the time frame thing. Obviously, loved my husband. He was not the butterflies ongoing.
No.
It was like, on the off chance that was out of context.
Let's just clarify that before
Let's
we
just
jump
clarify.
in.
Like the ring is here not just because it's shiny, but because I love my husband.
Yes.
I also love shiny.
Mm-hmm. Perks.
Yeah, we're all basically raccoons. We like shiny.
All right, diving into chapter 27.
Woo.
His needs.
Therapy.
Driving became impossible for Bella. She pulled off the side and allowed herself to fully feel what she was fighting in Jacob's room. Her peace and quiet by herself lasted just long enough for Alice to see her and for Edward to arrive and pull her in his arms. Quote, at first it was worse because there was that smaller part of me, smaller, but getting louder and angrier every minute, screaming at the rest of me that craved a different set of arms. End quote. That right there speaks volumes. I don't care who you are. So Edward drove her back home and kept his arm around her. She just needed to get a few seconds of control, getting past Charlie, and then she could break down again. When they get back, Bella instructs Edward to wait for her upstairs. Bella entered, and when Charlie sees her, he asks what happened. Bella assures him that Jake is fine physically. Charlie grabs her shoulders and asks what happened to her. Bella tells him she had to talk to Jacob about some things that were hard, but she's fine. Charlie's anxiety was replaced by disapproval. This was not the best timing, but how did he handle it? Bella didn't answer. Charlie then nodded and sighed. He hopes she didn't just mess up his recovery.
Again, from Charlie's perspective, I get it.
Yeah.
But also as Bella, I would have been like, look, he asked to talk about it.
Yeah.
Also, the best time to tell him is when he's doped up on those pain meds.
Right? He's high as a kite.
He's high as a kite. Do not use that going forward.
Don't do it. Don't.
No.
That was not advice.
Not advice. Not in this particular situation with the mythicalness of it all. Mythical and morphine, it's fine.
This is a book.
If you don't have mythical, it's not fine.
So Bella tells Charlie that she'll be in her room. Charlie agrees. Quote, nothing scared Charlie worse than tears. End quote.
Tears and estrogen.
Yep. So Bella makes it back to her room, blinded by her tears, and started messing with the clasp on her bracelet. Edward tells her no, it's part of who she is. He pulls her into his arms, and she starts sobbing again. Quote, I realized that I'd been wrong all along about the magnets. It had not been Edward and Jacob that I'd been trying to force together. It was the two parts of myself, Edward's Bella and Jacob's Bella. But they could not exist together, and I never should have tried. I'd definitely done so much damage. End quote. Bella eventually falls asleep. In the morning, she opens her eyes and saw Edward's anxious gaze on her, waiting for it to start again. Bella promises him that she's fine and it won't happen again. She apologizes.
Oh, the crying.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry. It's worse if you wake up to a handsome face and you're not feeling yourself. But it's even worse if they're looking at you anxious because then you're like, what's wrong with me? In this case, everything.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody watching me while I sleep.
Yeah. So she promises that it won't happen again, and she apologizes for him having to see that. Edward puts his hands on her face and asks if she's sure. Is she sure she made the right choice? He has never seen her in so much pain. It's valid.
Mm-hmm.
It's valid.
It's valid. Also, you should have seen her when you left, bro. Also, your hands are ice cold. Help a girl out. Gua sha her face. She's got to have a puffy face. Help with that lymphatic drainage.
The day after, sobbing.
Oh, the headache, the
just the
eye
pain.
crust.
Your eyes are so puffy and
all of it. No, that is not any time you want to be seen by anybody.
No. So Bella says yes. Edward continues that he isn't sure. If it hurts her that much, how can this possibly be the right thing for her? Bella assures him that she knows who she can't live without. He may be strong enough to live without her, but he has to be with her. It's the only way. Bella asks Edward to hand her a book, and she flips it to a page with the corner bent down. Quote, if all else perished and he remained, I should still continue to be. And if all else remained and he were annihilated, the universe would turn to a mighty stranger. End quote. Bella says again she knows who she can't live without. Edward pulls her in close and tells her he cannot live without
her.
He tells her he cannot live.
Plot twist. He can't live without Jacob. Dun, dun, dun.
Much different book. I want that to be a thing. I'm sure
that's
it's a thing.
That's a
yeah.
The amount of fanfics out there and books that have been inspired
Edward
by
and
this
Jacob.
one. Oh my god. Edub. Jake word.
I like Jake word.
Jake word.
Edward pulls her in close and tells her he cannot live without my life. I cannot live without my soul. But he also can't stand for Bella to be miserable. Bella tells him no, she made a mess and she'll have to live with that. But she knows what she wants and what she needs and what she's going to do now. They're going to go see Alice.
Oh, son of a friggin' a biscuit. I think I know.
Probably. So Alice was on the front porch waiting for Bella and Edward. She was excited about the news Bella would tell her and thanked Bella. Bella tells her to wait. She has a few limitations. Alice knows. She only has until August 13th, and she has the power on the guest list. Bella has the power on the guest list. And if she goes overboard, Bella will never speak to her again. So don't worry, it'll be perfect. She then asks if Bella wants to see her dress. Bella says sure, but when did she buy her a dress? Alice explains that these things take time, so although she wasn't sure that things would turn out this way, there was a good possibility. So Alice went to a major designer and he had promise. Alice then throws Edward out. He can't see the dress until the wedding day. Alice drags Bella to her closet, unzips the bag, and holds it out for Bella to see. Bella tells her it's perfect. Of course, she's a genius and guesses 1918.
Oh, it's supposed to be a 1918. The movie dress, and even what Stephanie describes in like the illustrated.
Yeah.
Not
1918 fashion.
Maybe like a woman's generic concept of 1918. I say woman just because if you said, hey, guy, regular, dude off the street, what do you think 1918 women's wedding dress? Like, they wouldn't even be loose. But like, you'll see, it's not bad.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
Okay, well, that's good.
But it's not. Yeah.
So Alice nods and says, more or less, some of it was her design, then asks if Bella likes it.
There we go.
Bella tells her it's just right for him and thinks it's just what she needs. Bella then asks if she can see Alice's dress. Because, Alice's face goes blank and Bella continues. She's sure that she ordered herself a bridesmaid's dress at the same time because she wouldn't want her maid of honor to wear something off the rack now, would she?
Oh, she surprises Alice.
Alice threw her arms around Bella's waist and thanked her. Quote, Alice danced back and her face was bright with fresh enthusiasm. I've got so much to do. Go play with Edward. I have to get to work. End quote.
I mean, she's right. Having both of us gone through weddings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So she goes running out the door, calling for Esme. Bella went into the hall and saw Edward waiting for her and suggests that they go to the meadow. So they go to the meadow, and Edward asks about August 13th. This gives Bella a month until her birthday. Edward points out that Esme is 3 years older than Carlisle, technically, and it hasn't made a difference to them. Bella tells him that her age isn't that important, but she's ready. She has chosen and wants to start living it. About the guest list veto, she isn't sure if Alice would feel the need to invite a few werewolves. Quote, I don't know if Jake would feel like he should come, like that's the right thing to do, or that I'd get my feelings hurt if he didn't. He shouldn't have to go through that. End quote. So it sounds like she doesn't want to invite him.
Yeah.
Which I get.
Yeah.
Edward asks why she decided to give Alice free rein. Bella doesn't feel it's fair to keep Charlie out of this, and that also means Renee and Phil, so she may as well let Alice have her fun too. It may make things easier on Charlie if he gets his proper goodbye, and Bella doesn't want to cheat him out of the chance to walk her down the aisle. Edward searches her face for a while before suddenly telling her the deal is off. He isn't backing out. He's still keeping his side of the bargain, but she's off the hook, no strings attached. He sees that she's trying to make everyone else happy, and he doesn't care about anyone else's feelings. He just needs her to be happy, and he'll deal with Alice. She'll be okay. He's been stubborn to think that he knows what's best for Bella, but it's only hurt her time and time again, so he no longer trusts himself.
Took you long enough.
3 full books.
3 full books. Maybe this is the part I'm remembering about Edward where I'm like, no, he's not that bad later. I think
He
this is
gets
it.
better.
I think this is what I'm remembering because I'm like, self-introspection. Finally.
So he agrees to do things her way tonight. The sooner the better. He'll see if they tried to give her morphine, if that'll help the pain. Bella tries to say no, but Edward interrupts, telling her to not worry. He didn't forget about the rest of her demands. Suddenly, his hands were in her hair, and
Oh,
he was kissing her.
excuse me. In the house with the get.
Oh, they're in the meadow right now, I believe.
Oh, thank God. Oh, no.
First time in the meadow?
You better hope there's not ticks.
So, his hands were in her hair and he was kissing her. And it takes Bella a little bit to realize what he was actually saying.
Really? She's
Apparently.
slow. Yeah.
Yeah. So she tells Edward to stop. She doesn't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
Edward asks why. Quote, I love you. I want you right now. End quote. Your face was my face reading this.
Did Stephanie write this or did somebody
Someone
sneak
else?
it in?
I don't know. This was important to her. She wants to do things the right way, everything in the right order. She won't leave Charlie and Renee without the best resolution she can. She won't deny Alice her fun, and Bella wants to tie herself to him in every human way before she will ask him to make her immortal. She won't let him sway her mind. Edward murmurs that he bets that he can. Edward tells him that he wouldn't, since that is really what she needs. Edward tells her if she changes her mind and Bella finishes for him, that he'll be the first to know. Rain starts to fall from the sky,
Of course it does.
Edward tells her that he'll get her home. Rain's not the problem, I grumbled. It just means that it's time to go do something that will be very unpleasant and possibly even highly dangerous. His eyes widened in alarm. It's a good thing you're bulletproof, I sighed. I'm gonna need that ring. It's time to tell Charlie. He laughed at that expression. He laughed at the expression on my face. Highly dangerous, he agreed. He laughed again and then reached into his pocket of his jeans. But at least there's no need for a side trip. He once again slid my ring into place on the third finger of my left hand, where it would stay, conceivably, for the rest of eternity.
Third, fourth, ma'am. Oh, thumb's not a finger. Really?
Mm-hmm. Anything on chapter 27?
Nope. Let's wrap her up in the epilogue.
Epilogue. So we're in Jacob's perspective now.
This first of many that we will get in Breaking Dawn. I couldn't remember the word.
Choice. So Leah asks if Jacob thinks that it'll take much longer. She was impatient and whiny. Leah knew why he came here. He wanted to be alone, but Leah forced her company on him. Jacob tells her to jump off a cliff. Leah ignores him. He has no idea how hard this is for her. This is making her sick. She doesn't even like Bella, and he has her grieving over her like she's in love with her too. All last night, she dreamt about kissing Bella. He needs to get over her. She's gonna marry the thing, and he will change her into one of them. It's time to move on. Jacob growls for her to shut up. She continues that he'll probably just kill her anyway. After all, the stories say that happens more often than not. Maybe a funeral will be better closure than a wedding.
Dang. Also, I am so sharing your conscious mind is rough. Having to have that subconscious. If I start having dreams about my pack's lover, especially those type of dreams, oh no, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be like, somebody drop me in a group of a bunch of ace wolves. I don't want to deal with that. I don't. Oh, put me with nuns. No, I feel
No.
The more you repress, the crazier stuff gets.
Jacob closed his eyes and fought to stay in control. He glared at her, and she was smiling. Jacob jabs back to imagine how they feel knowing how she looks at Sam through her eyes. Jacob did feel guilt when Leah showed pain across her face. Leah split off and ran. Jacob knew Sam would give him hell for that, but it was worth it. Her words stung. It didn't matter that Bella chose a different guy. What mattered was that she was giving up everything and will turn into a monster and a stranger. She could die, though, but he shook that thought out of his head. He had to believe that she would survive. She would be different, and he didn't know how that would affect him. Jacob went back home, and Billy had something on his mind. He was trying too hard to act casual and was talking way too much. After a lot of talking, Billy said that they got a letter today. Actually, a wedding invitation. Jacob went stiff. Billy continued that there was a note inside addressed to Jacob, and he didn't read it. Billy placed the card on the table and tells him that he probably doesn't need to read it. It doesn't really matter what it says. Jacob knew that this was Billy doing some reverse psychology on him, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob opens it. Quote, Jacob, I'm breaking the rules by sending you this. She was afraid of hurting you, and she didn't want to make you feel obligated in any way. But I know that if things have gone the other way, I would have wanted the choice. I promise I will take care of her, Jacob. Thank you for her, for everything. Edward. End quote. Billy stares at Jacob's left hand and tells him that they only have one table.
I love Billy.
Jacob loosened his fingers one by one. Billy mutters that doesn't matter anyways. Jacob gets up, yanks off his shirt, and Billy mumbles not too late, and Jacob takes off. Jacob transformed, and the trees blurred around him. But Jacob wasn't alone. Embry whispered, so sorry, and Quill chimes in to wait for them. Jacob snarls to leave him alone. He could feel their worry in his head. He hated their pity. He saw it and they continued to come after him. Sam's voice was soft and ordered them to let Jacob go and told them to phase back. He'll pick Embry up since Embry is far out. Jacob thanks Sam once it was only the two of them left, and Sam tells him to come home when he can. Then he leaves too. It's so much better now. It is silent. Quote, if the silence in my head lasted, I would never go back. I wouldn't be the first one to choose this form over others. Maybe if I ran far enough away, I would never have to hear again. I pushed my legs faster, letting Jacob Black disappear behind me. End quote. And end of Eclipse.
We did
We're
it.
done. We made it.
Well, you've heard my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
On what, the book?
Yeah, all of it.
Bella and Jacob have chemistry. Bella and Edward do not. Do I want the two of them together, though? No.
I want Jacob happy.
I want Jacob to be happy.
And truly loved. Fully loved.
Yeah.
Not second choice.
He better get a good girl, otherwise I'm going to be freaking pissed.
I can't tell you. He
I
ends
know
up
you
happy.
can't. I know. Have we met her yet?
No.
Oh.
There's so much that I want to say. And girl, I'm sorry in advance because there's going to be one point where you're going to be like, Connie! I'm sorry in advance. There is so much that I could not tell you without spoiling.
Okay, well, me and Connie off camera have talked about this, and that just kind of confirmed. I've been thinking about for the last book, when I am doing my summarizing and reading, I might start looking at YouTube lives. And so you guys can watch me live react to whatever is going to come, because apparently it's going to be big.
All I know is if you're reading it outside the hours that I'm in class, I know you are calling me. There's a couple of big things you're going to be like, excuse me?
Come again?
Excuse me? You're going to have so many opinions. And whatever you think is going to happen, it's not going to happen. It's curveball-y.
Well, all I know that happens is Bella and Edward do get married.
Yes. And then everything after that, just it's all curveballs.
And
It
Bella
kind of-
becomes a vampire, and that's all I know. But that's a given with this book.
There's a lot that happens between that, though.
Oh, we don't start off, boom, they get married?
I actually...
Oh, you don't know?
I don't remember the order. I don't remember the order.
Okay.
No, but like there's definitely a lot that happens. And I almost, to my memory, kind of like how we talked about New Moon seemed like it was a completely different like universe within the world. It was like different. I mean, it's a different book, but like different book. That's kind of how Breaking Dawn feels, where we do get another plot finally, but like
About
the Volturi are back and like all this other stuff is happening, and I personally remember it to be the most like engaging.
Okay.
A lot of world building.
I do enjoy the world building stuff.
It is weird that it's really not. I mean, we get some. And there's definitely some more racial overtones on some of the stuff.
Yeah, I fear, unfortunately, I assume so from what we've already seen.
Yes. And just a reminder to folks, do not spoil anything in the comments. Somebody left some spoilers in a comment, and I had to tell Jess not to read it. So shh. Go back and watch those videos and comment once she knows everything. Rewatch the video. Why not? It's fun. It's entertaining for you guys, not for us to relive it.
No, I have to edit all of these, so I'm good.
and Jess has to edit out a lot of comments. My comments, mainly.
That's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay. I have to edit out one of my whoops today, so I'm trying to be better. Trying to not swear as much.
Yeah, we do our best.
It just slipped out.
Well, it was merited. On that. Anything else before Breaking Dawn?
We have our movie reaction that will be out next week. So we clearly have not watched it yet, but we will, and we will get that posted. So make sure you go on YouTube for that one because it will only be on YouTube.
Yes. Which is the last plug again to last plug of this episode, not the last plug of the Chronicles. Like, follow, subscribe and get notifications about when these videos go up. Highly recommend you do it because you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
Out-of-pocket commentary.
Yeah. And there are a lot of shorts that I put out there, and some of them are bloopers. Some of them are cuts that can make it to public, just are a little bit too much ranty for the full video.
Yeah. Yeah, to our longtime watchers, and even if this is the first episode that you watched, should surprise you not at all that we rant.
Yeah. The first few episodes were ranty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all things considered, not the worst way to start a podcast.
No. Nope. But yes, please check us out. Links will be below for all of our social media.
Yes.
And we will see you hopefully next week for the movie reaction. Please go watch it. It takes a lot of time
to edit. And watch and process and re-edit.
Editing takes days.
Jess still hasn't gotten all of her soul back from having to rewatch and re-edit Twilight like 7 times.
It was bad. I had no idea what I was doing.
I'm so sorry. That feels like I inflicted upon you cruel and unusual torture.
It was bad. Well, luckily, I kind of know a little bit more of what I'm doing now, so it doesn't take that many tries.
That's good, because when we get to Breaking Dawn, there's 2 movies. We're going to have to schedule like a Saturday and just plow through both of those back to back.
We might space those editing out because it does take days and they might not be back to back weeks. But we will let you know, so make sure you follow us on all of our social medias.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Oh, stuff is gonna take some turns. There's so much hiding behind my eyes right now. I just want to tell you. I'm not in the habit of not telling you things.
Yeah, we're really bad at that, which is a good thing, but like...
Yeah, it's the default. I just assume anything I know, you know. Like, if you knew my social, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.